Hi, I'm Dr. Wendy Murawski. I am the Eisner Endowed Chair for the Center for Teaching and Learning at California State University, Northridge, where I'm also a professor in the Department of Special Education. I'm also very pleased to be the Vice President for the Teacher Education Division of CEC and a very active member. I've been invited to be the featured scholar this month, and I'm pleased to talk to you about some of my work in the area of collaborative teaching or co-teaching. I was asked to talk about 3 initiatives that I have been working on related to my field. The first one I thought I would share is a new book that we have coming out. I co-authored with Dr. Lisa Deeker from the University of Central Florida, and it's actually published through CEC, Council for Exceptional Children. We're talking about leading the co-teaching dance, leadership strategies to enhance team outcomes. And the focus of this particular book is really for administrators and teacher leaders related to collaborative teaching in inclusive schools. What we're finding is that there are a lot of teachers and administrators out there who are told to co-teach but don't know how to do it. And we certainly have a lot of teacher educators who are preparing those individuals. So we think this is going to be a great resource to the field in terms of specifically the leadership strategies for enhancing those team outcomes. So that's the first initiative I'm pleased to share with you. The second one is that I am working on student teaching and co-teaching research. This is something that St. Cloud folks, especially Nancy Bacharach and Teresa Heck, really started getting the field to be looking at in terms of how are we preparing our student teachers and how we might actually have student teachers co-teach with their master or mentor teachers. So at California State University, Northridge, one of the things that I've been pleased to do is to get a grant to work on actually having our teacher candidates co-teach with master teachers. And the data has been very, very positive. In fact, I'll be sharing it at our TED Division Conference this week. The third initiative is really a lot of professional development related to co-teaching. As the Endowed Chair at the Center for Teaching and Learning, one of our primary focuses is to provide research-based professional development to the community. In addition to that, I have my own educational consulting company called To Teach, and I go around nationally and internationally training on co-teaching. One of the number one things we found in the literature and research related to co-teaching is that teachers are told to do it constantly, but they're not told exactly how to do it. And yet in the research, what we find is when those individuals have the components that were first established by Friend and Cook as if critical for effective co-teaching, they're successful. It's when those critical components are not there, like administrator support, like time for co-planning, like a voice in the partner or with whom you're going to co-teach, those personality styles, scheduling. Those are critical components. People need to be prepared. We can't just throw our teachers in to collaborate in inclusive schools and expect it's going to work. So I've been doing a lot of work on professional development. The next thing I was asked to share are 3 resources that might be helpful to teacher educators. The first one, of course, I'm going to share with you is that new book. So it's coming out again through CEC, Council for Exceptional Children. Lisa Deeker and I co-authored it. It will be out November of this year, and I think it'll be a great resource to those who need to learn how to set up co-teaching. For those of you who are working with teachers who are just trying to understand collaboration, communication, those skills, maybe general educators and special educators who are being trained together in an introduction to special education class, I also co-authored a book with Sally Spencer called Collaborate, Communicate, and Differentiate. And those are strategies for also increasing the team outcomes, the student outcomes in our inclusive schools. And that's out through Corwin Press. I am currently working on a chapter on co-teaching research. I'm co-authoring it with Vanessa Goodwin, and that is for the Handbook of Research and Practice for Effective Inclusive Schools, and that is edited by some big names in the field: James McCleskey, Nancy Waldron, Fred Spooner, and Bob Algazine. So I'm very fortunate to be invited to be part of that group, and we're very excited about putting that book out into the field. So that'll be out next year. And last but not least, my own website is www.toteach, teachllc.com. So that's the number 2, TEACH, LLC.com. And I have a template for co-planning. I have examples of co-taught lesson plans. So all of that is available in terms of professional development for co-teaching. Last but not least, I was also asked about recommendations for the field. In terms of collaborative teaching, I think that teacher educators need to be aware that right now what we're finding in the research on co-teaching is that the specially designed instruction that we are supposed to be bringing to the table, that special education is supposed to be bringing to the table, is lacking. And part of it is because teachers don't know how to work together, but a lot of the research is also finding that we're not even seeing that specially designed instruction in our self-contained or resource classes. So Costin Theoharis and colleagues in 2011, Peggy King-Sears and Bowman Crum in 2011, Kennedy and Isle in 2012, we're finding article after article after article sharing with us that teachers need to step up. And I think teacher educators need to help teach teachers that not only do we need to be interventionists, specialists, we need to know how to do it in an inclusive classroom and self-advocate. We need to teach teachers how to go into a meeting to say, I am coming into your high school physics class and I may not know physics the way you do, but I have something to bring to the table. There is, excuse me for the quote, value added for me being in that room. So I think that that's very critical and what we need to do as teacher educators. Last 2 things would be we need to work with our administrators. We need to collaborate with those individuals who are training principals and superintendents and work with the educational leadership field, because those people really do set the stage for success in our growing inclusive schools. But they don't necessarily know what we know. So in teacher education, I think we also need to not just work with our teachers, but we also need to work with all those other related professionals. And the way we can do that is to really model what we're expecting, model collaboration. We need to co-teach classes on co-teaching, but not just by sharing the stage. Sometimes we also need to be using the different co-teaching approaches. We need to be bringing in specially designed instruction. We need to be differentiating. We need to show how our lessons in higher ed are universally designed. If we can't model what we preach, then we're going to be hard-pressed to have our future educators do the things that we think are important. So to quote some very wonderful TED members, Sindelar and Brownell and Billingsley in 2010, we need some serious teacher ed reform. We need to look at how we're preparing teachers. Linda Darling Hammond in 2005, we've got to train our teachers to collaborate, to problem solve. And I truly believe that the way we're going to do that is to model collaboration, not just talk about it. Model co-teaching. Don't just say it's a good idea, but collect data and make sure what we're doing is evidence-based for kids. And that's what we're about in the Teacher Education Division. So thank you for allowing me a few minutes to talk to you about this.